In this lesson, we will cover the commit graph. This will probably be one of the larger lessons of this course, as there is a lot that you can do with the commit graph. The commit graph displays your commit history. And so there's ways to interact with commits, with branches, tags. Uh, you can drag and drop elements to one another to trigger actions. And this will hopefully, by the end of this lesson, you'll see how GitKraken saves you time by telling you what actions are possible between two branches. It'll give you also a gateway into taking all sorts of cool actions through the context menu. So all of that and much more will be covered in this lesson. So let's talk about the commit graph by opening GitKraken client. So here it is. I have it open to repository. So whenever you open a Git repository in the application, the app will build the graph. The graph contains a history of all the changes ever made in this project. And when you click on a commit, you'll notice that the commit panel here on the far right, that's this section over here, will update with a list of all the changes that were made. It'll have the avatar for the commit author name, the date of when the commit was made, along with a link to copy the commit ID to your clipboard. And then we even have a link to jump to the parent commit in the graph. The commit panel has its own video, and you can definitely take a look at that lesson to dive into how you can interact with the commit panel. But what you need to know is that here you can scroll through the commit history and take a quick look at who's been contributing and how often. Now, to orient your way around the commit graph, you'll notice that there should be three columns by default whenever you open a repo in GitKraken. So first, you'll notice the branch and tag column. This is where we list the references to your branches and your tags. And um, there's even additional iconography available for each branch, which I'll get to in a little bit. We have the graph column. This is where we draw the commits. Remember, a commit, uh, every commit has a parent except for the initial commit, which is created when you initialize a repository. And GitKraken will draw the line between the child and the parent. So it just goes child, parent, child, parent, child, parent. This branch right here looks like they've been doing a lot of rebasing recently here in this Electron repository. But you can follow the history by just going child, parent. This is now the child. Look at this parent. And that's how we build the graph. Now you'll notice too, it is possible for a commit to have more than one parent. And that's very common, of course, when you have a merge commit. You have changes from two branches coming together into one commit. And that's whenever you see a filled in dot in the commit graph, that is a merge commit. And you'll see that it has two parents right here, and then what those changes were. And usually there's PR information associated with it. Okay, so I'm going to jump over to a different repository. That was I guess, but one final point before I do that. So this commit graph can be expanded and contracted based on it does depend on how many merges have been done and how complicated the repository is. But if this is too noisy for you, if you really just want to see a list of all the changes, you could condense it down to just one row, or sorry, one column. And then, or if you want to get a feel for the exact precise actions that have been taken throughout this project, that's where you might expand it all the way. And then finally, we have the commit message column. So the commit message column will display whatever message left by the commit author, which hopefully leaves a descriptive um, summary of what was changed. Now, there are a few more things you can add to the commit graph, and you can do that by navigating to this gear in the top right corner. You'll notice that we have you are given the option to add a column for the commit author. You can add a column for date and time, and you can add a column for SHA, which is just another way of saying the commit ID. So here it is, the commit ID. Let me move my camera over here. And I think what I'll do is I'll also, hopefully this doesn't make it worse for you, but I'll decrease the zoom and you can get a feel for how those columns show. Now, the nice thing, for example, with the commit date, and I'm actually going to uncheck the SHA the commit date and time will be a great way for you to get a feel for when or how often changes are being made in this repository, as you get the precise date and even the time of when those commits were made. So that's a nice feature. Now I'm going to go over to this other repository because one feature that you get with the author column is that you have the ability to filter the commit graph based on the selected author. So for example, here is Alex. Alex is an active contributor to this project. I can select Alex and see all the commits that Alex has made in this project. And so it's a great way of just highlighting all those changes. And so that's what that filter will do. Similarly, if you have created teams, and there is a teams section in this course, which just groups users together, you can select a team and see all the changes that have been made by members of those teams. So very similar. You can filter the graph not only by individual authors, but by teams as well. Now let me clear this filter and let's also go back to our default column settings here. All right. So we have talked about, well, really I gave you an overview of what the commit graph looks like, but now let's get into each of these elements themselves. So the commits can be selected. So you may hover over a commit to get a ghost branch. So that's one cool thing you may have already been noticing. When I hover over any of these commits, you have a little ghost branch appearing, which shows you the nearest branch associated with that commit. And similarly, when you hover over a branch, you'll notice that the graph will highlight all the commits associated with that branch as well. So both are pretty handy. You can select a commit to and the ghost branch will stick. It gives you an opportunity to, let me choose a different one here. So let's choose this commit. And I can double click on this to then check out the branch wherever it's currently pointing to. It doesn't reset the branch back to the commit that I was hovering over. It just checks out the branch and takes me to where it is right now. Okay, so ghost branches and commit highlighting. All of those two settings in particular can be configured from the preferences gear in the top right. Navigate over to UI customization, and you'll see that you can show ghost branches. You can uncheck that if you prefer not to have it. Same with syntax highlighting, commit highlighting. While I'm here, if you navigate over again to the gear, but this time go to the general section, this is where you can configure the max number of commits in the graph. So if you're someone who prefers to have way more commits in your graph, that's a way to dig deep into the repository, especially if you have a project that's been around for quite some time. Just know that if you do go above 2,000 commits, if you go way, way above 2,000, you may see a performance hit in GitKraken. If you also want to improve the experience, if you want to improve the performance, you can also lower it. We have a minimum of 500 commits that will display in the application. Okay, so that's commit highlighting. Those are some preferences. Now let's get into some of the actions that are available with commits, branches, and tags. So when you select a commit, of course, the commit panel will be will update based on what changes were made, and you can check out the commit panel lesson for more information on that. But you can also right-click on any commit to view the actions that are available from this commit. One action that's available is that you have the ability to create a branch. So you can do that anywhere. Right-click on any commit, and you'll have the option to create branch here. And as you can see, I've been creating a lot of feature branches as part of these lessons. But here I created feature -3. You'll notice that when you create a branch, when you name a branch, that no spaces are permitted. So be sure to use dashes if you need to have a long but readable branch name. And if I were to want to check out a branch directly, check out a commit directly, that is the top option here. You can always choose to check out commits directly. Just a word of caution, that is the detached head state. And when you enter the detached head state, and if you start making some changes and you make commits, just know that unless you create a branch that points to those commits after the fact, your changes will be lost. So just use the detached head state with caution. However, it is a convenient way of quickly getting your repository to jump over to a different point in time. It's a way of time travel almost. Creating a branch is effectively the same thing, and also doesn't really cost you too much. You just name your branch, and that's a nice, safe way of time traveling throughout your repository. Because remember, when you check out a branch somewhere else, you are converting your directory to match the state of those files at that point in time. So I hope that makes sense. I'll say it a few different ways in other lessons as well. Okay, to exit the detached head state, all you have to do is check out a different branch. And there you go. You are checked out. And then in this case, you notice that I also have tags available. So tags can be created very similar to how you create a branch, but instead of choosing the option to create a branch, you'll choose the option to create a tag. And when you create a tag, let's do let's see, 9.1, for example. Oh, it looks like we allow dots. We allow dots in naming the tags. Can I do that for a feature? Please bear with me. I'm just very curious about this feature dot 3. Nope. Oh, yes, you can. Wow. That is really cool. I didn't know you could do that. Okay. And then similar, if you check out a different branch, you can right click on a branch to delete or rename branches. So I'm going to do that real quick there too. All right. Now, there's one final thing I want to get into. So I've already gone into the context menu, but I want to also show that you can pick up any of these branches and you can drag and drop. So use your mouse, pick up a branch, and you can drag and drop it to a different branch. And the app will tell you what actions are available between those two branches. So do you want to merge this branch into, do you want to merge main into feature? Do you want to rebase feature onto main? Now in this case, I haven't done anything with this feature branch. So I would, in a more common scenario, I would make some changes, make some commits, and then I would drag and drop to say maybe start a pull request, right? So push this feature branch up to my remote and then start a pull request. The point that I'm trying to make though is that GitKraken does help filter the actions that are available. And you'll note that you can also drag and drop a branch in the graph over to a branch in the local or remote section of the left panel, which will do the same thing. It'll tell you what actions are available, what operations are available between those two branches. And the reverse is true as well. So if you want to pick up a branch from the left panel and drop it onto a branch in the graph, that will filter the list of what's possible here as well. Again, some of these options don't make sense because I haven't made very many changes. You may see even more options available if you were to say make some commits on a feature branch and try to merge it in. You'll see a number of options become available. Okay, so commits, you can, when you make commits, you just continue to draw the graph in GitKraken client. Use branches to point to any commit. It's a great way of reverting your repository to a certain point in time. You can create tags to keep track of certain points, certain milestones that you might have made in the repository. And the power of drag and drop will help you understand what actions are available when working with between two different branches. And the context menu is your gateway to all sorts of different actions in the app. You'll notice the menu update depending on which commit you have selected or which branch you have checked out. So you can double click on any branch, by the way, to check out a branch. And you'll notice that this will start to update and show you what is available. So I think, for example, if I want to drop this commit, is that available? Sometimes you can drop, yeah, so here, there's way more options available. I think one of them is, I was saying you can solo, you can revert commit, there's all sorts of actions that are available here. So I encourage you to explore using the context menu. You don't necessarily have to click on anything too. You can always just right click and see what options are there so that when the time does come that you need to use that tool, you can capitalize on that. All right. Hopefully this helps you get acquainted with the commit graph, and we'll see you in the next lesson.